Hey everyone, welcome back to another session with me. I am Sanyukta Saxena and today's tangle is Narfello. Yes, he's a comparatively new fellow. Yeah, the tangle has been recently introduced in one of the recent seminars. So Narfello is a pattern again based on one stroke, that is the S stroke. Kind of confusing for many, but once you get a hold of it, I think you would really like the pattern and the ease with which it can be created, right? So let's get started. First learn how to draw the basic pattern and then we shall explore more of it. Draw some tiles together. And by the way, CZT Lynn Med has done some fabulous work on this pattern already. She ran a series on this pattern in which almost she drew 100 tiles with the same pattern. Probably she covered every possible variation, and I cannot even go close to that, but we'll learn how to draw the pattern, and then as we always do, draw a tile using that pattern and a few more tangles, right? So our concentration would be creating beautiful tiles, beautiful compositions, right? So let's get started. So Narfello basically starts with some curvy lines, some zigzag curvy lines like these, right? So I'm just going to aura, and you can see the curves are widely spaced. I'm not drawing a very crinky line here. It's pretty flowy with large curls here, right? So the size of the curls is pretty nicely spaced out so that the shape of Narfello shows well. Yeah, that's one thing that you can keep in mind while drawing the tangle, right? The next thing is to start from one, and then the shape that I'm going to create every time is this shape, right? So this is the basic shape that we will be working on in Narfello, alternating, right? So we just need to create that shape, and that is what I'm going to be working here, right? So once I have joined this, how do I create that shape? I am going to come down like this. So I created that shape, right? I created that shape. Now that I have come down, how do I create that shape again? I am again going to come down like this. So I created same shape in the alternate way, right? Again, once I have come down like this, I'm going to again create that shape by coming down like this, right? Again, I'm going to create the same shape by coming down like this, and then finally coming down like this, right? So that's the stroke. Now whichever way you want to remember it, basically I remember the shape I want, and that is how I remember my strokes. Again, starting the same way, again if I need to create that shape, I will come down like this. Now opposite side, if I need to create that shape, I will come down like this. Again the opposite side, if I need to create that shape, I will come down like this. Again the opposite side, I will come down like this, right? So that's the pattern Narfello. I'll show once again. One, join it here. Once you get this shape, now you are working on this one, right? So now you have to come down like this. Now you have to come down like this, right? And then come down like this. So they are basically alternating shapes. One like this, the other one in the other direction, right? So once you create like this, then the next one you create is like this, right? So that's how you work. Now you have created this, so the next one you create is like this, right? So now created this, so the next one you create is like this, right? So once you understand how to draw and what is the shape that you're working on, you may not even require this grid. Yeah, again this is the shape I'm working on, so I'll create it like this, right? So again same thing, this is the shape I want. So I've already created half of this shape. Now I'll come down like this, right? Then again I'll come down like this, then again I'll come down like this and continue like this, right? So let me show you once again, since people do find it a little difficult to draw at times following the step outs. Although step outs give it pretty clearly and easily where to start, where to end, but I didn't quite find it that simple, right? I don't know why. So I work with the shape, right? So I find it easier that how do I create that shape, right? And you have to basically keep in mind that you have to alternate it. So again, if I start like this and I have to complete my shape, I'll come down like this. So you can do that for the first one everywhere, right? So this is the shape I'm working on. Basically you start elish, the pattern called elish with this shape, right? Now the second one has to be in the opposite direction. Now so I'm just going to create that shape again like this, right? So this is how I can create that shape, right? Now again half of the shape is already created. I am again going back and completing this stroke to create again that same shape, right? Again half of the shape is already created, so I'll go back. So it is basically alternating lines. Direction of the line keeps changing every time, right? So then you come back like this, then you come back like this, you come back like this, right? So that's the tangle pattern Narfello, right? So let us see few tiles that I drew. Simple arrangement Narfello with some more fragments and diva dance, and this is again Narfello. There are so many variations. Each of these spaces provide you place options to play around. You can use whole lot of patterns that you have learned to fill up this space, to shade it differently, right? Just try it out and just visit Lynn Mid's official Facebook page also to get a better picture. She has done some wonderful work on it, right? And this is again Narfello. I tried different things with Narfello here inside my Huggins, right? So it is a excellent filler tangle also, and you can use it like anything wavy or water kind of thing, and you can fill it up in different ways. This is something just about shading, and you kept the Narfello empty, right? And this is how it looks like. So today let us start and draw another tile using the pattern Narfello, right? So I'm going to be starting like this, right? So we had learned a pattern called quib, if you remember. So I'm going to be using that pattern for Narfello, right? So let's first start with our grid. So again, take it easy. The curves can be widely spaced, right? So just create a nice wavy curve. Don't draw them very closely spaced. Just give a nice open wave, so it will be easier for you to create the pattern. Yeah, and probably one more. Right, so once we are done with that, I'll probably add one more here. Yeah, right. So once we have done that, let us now again start the same process. So we have to concentrate on the shape that we are working on, right? So I'm first going to add this line and then create that shape. So here it might look a little different because we have given a curve, right? Now that half of the shape is done, now I'm going to again give a curve. Right? Again, half of the shape is done already, this part. So I'm going to again give a curve. Right? Again, half of the shape is already done, so we are going to give a curve. Just keep alternating. Yeah, and the last one. Yeah, right, and then probably we'll cap it like we do in the pattern quib and add some lines like this, just as we draw the pattern pepper, or for that matter festoon. And a little boldness here to add a little third dimension. Yeah, and I'll do that here also. I'm sorry. So just add a cap. Yeah, and then little weight below. Yeah, that's about our Narfello. Yeah, and now it is up to us, how do we want to deck it up, right? So I'm going to ink some of the sections. So I'm creating this another aura inside some of the sections, right? And I'm going to ink it randomly. I'm just picking up sections randomly. Right, so you can pick any section or you can alternate. So I'm just going to pick a few sections like this. So I have inked couple of the sections, and then in the rest of the sections we'll see if we want to add something else. Right now I'm going to leave it like that, right? And we have two more sections left in the tile. So let's get started. The first section I'm going to probably introduce Hollowbog. So I'm going to be starting with these random lines, right? And a slight variation by adding one more extra aura to the second line. Right, so just as we draw Hollowbog, random lines just in about any direction, not cutting each other at any place, drawing behind. Real fun to draw. You really don't have to think anything here except draw lines. Probably one last one here. Right, so now up to us, what do we want to do with the in-between spaces, right? So we can add a little coffered look, or we can add some other tangles of our choice. Probably very small little spaces, I'm going to ink it. right? So small spaces, I'm just picking up those sections and inking it. And where the spaces are a little larger, we'll insert a pattern, or you can keep it as it is. Right, so I'm just going to draw a pattern called hypnotic, which starts with a dot, and I've encircled the dot, and then I'm just going to add auras to the dot. It's a very simple pattern to draw, purely aura based. It is not a Zentangle original, however it is very simple to draw, just involves auras, and each time you draw it you have to change the direction of the auras, right? So this time I place the dot somewhere else, and then I'm just going to aura. Like this, right? Again here probably I'll place a dot here and then just aura the dot, right? Again place it here and then aura the dot. It's a very nice filler tangle. And on the last one, yeah, so that's hypnotic, I'm sorry. And in this section, again, up to you, what do you want to draw? So I'm just going to insert one's drawings here, sitting on my Narfello. So starting with those S shapes, like this, right? And then start from the back and join here. Start from the back of the S shape and join like this. Start from the back, join like this. Simple tangle to draw, has a nice feel, organic feel. Yeah, that's about it. And then you can comfortably bring these lines down with a very delicate hand, not pressing my pen too much. Yeah, so yeah, so what we can do to our drawings is add one more line like this and add some weight to that line so that it is clear. The pattern gets highlighted. Right, last one is somewhere hidden, so nothing to be done there. Yeah, that's about it. So now what I'm going to do is add some really fragile fescues inside my Narfello, really crinkly and delicate ones, like this. Probably to some, not all. Yeah. Let us now start to shade, right? So adding some 3 graphite under my festoon and around the orb that I drew inside my festoon. Right? And then probably in these empty sections, just to highlight them at both the ends. Including those where I added some fescues. So slowly add graphite at both ends of each of the sections of the Narfello. Yeah, and then with a very soft hand, not blending too much. We want highlights in between, so don't blend too much. Make sure you have this white section, because that is what is going to highlight your Narfello. Yeah. So I'm just blending with a soft hand each of the sections, taking one at a time. Making sure that I don't blend too much either. But going to each of the sections. Right, so take that time and shade each of these sections slowly with the highlight in the center. So we are almost done here. Shaded each section. Yeah, right. So moving on to our drawings. Just going to shade around the orb and add some shading at these points. So just a nice mystic feeling there, and probably you can add some dots or orbs or Bronx cheers. Right, something like this that I'm talking about. Looks nice, just dots. Yeah, I think that's sufficient. Yeah, and then moving on to our hollow block. The traditional way is the best way. Highlight the intersections and you don't need to do anything else. Right, so just adding graphite at the intersections. That's about it. Going to blend it. Don't blend too much. Leave a highlight. Yeah, that's about it. If you want, you can give a touch, slight touch inside, but I don't think it will be required. Those sections which are big enough, you can just add some graphite on one side probably. Yeah, I think that's sufficient. Right, so that is our tile for today using Narfello and a few more tangles to go along. So I'm now going to put in my chop and close my tile here, right? So probably somewhere here. Sign and date your tile. Right, sorry, and I'll see you again with another new Zentangle original. This was Narfello. Enjoy, do explore more, and I'll get back to you once again. Bye bye, take care.